Hi everybody, welcome to the South Australian Sports Show. I hope you can stay with us for the next hour. Rob Popplestone's last show with us. If you can believe it, he's leaving off to Melbourne, but he's been good enough to squeeze us in for his final show. Poppy, how are you?
I'm going okay. I'm pretty excited about what lies ahead, but I've got to say, I'm just as excited about tonight and tomorrow in the AFL, and of course we've got the SANFL Grand Final as well. Mate, what a great weekend.
There is a lot happening. Some people normally tear up when they get emotive about things, and you're completely the opposite.
Well,
not disappointed about leaving at all, really, are you?
No, actually, don't start me because I'll probably break down. But I'm going over to see, and Jen asked me to make mention of her. I'm going over to see a lovely lady called Jennifer Baumgarten, and back in the country town that I was born with my mum and dad. So that's where I'll be heading off to. Looking forward to it. It should be fantastic.
When was the last time you were in Tarouga?
I've been going back regularly.
No, I mean as a long period.
I went there for about 9 months in 1991, and before that, 1987.
91. So it's about nearly 30 years since you've been there. Yeah. Well, most people will have forgotten all the bad things you did when you were there.
Well, last time I went down, they said, "Poppy, you still got that 20 you owe me." It's now up to 3,000. Yeah.
All right. Time to get over to Erin for the sports news. Erin.
Thanks, guys. And what a week in sport it's been for our local SA teams. Tonight's the night where dreams will come true or our hearts will be shattered, with the Crows taking on the Cats at Adelaide Oval for a spot in the big dance. Mitch McGovern is in doubt with hamstring soreness, while Brodie Smith definitely won't be lacing up the boots. Rory Sloane's back after having his appendix out, just like his teammate Eddie Betts. And the short break in Queensland may have been what our boys needed. Dangerfield might be ready to snatch the win from his old teammates, but Adelaide are still the favourite to win. It may have taken Sturt 6 games to snag a win this season, but now they are just 1 game away from a repeat of last year's premiership win. The Double Blues won against Woodville West Torrens in a nail-biter at Adelaide Oval in the prelim final. The boys just had an edge over Woodville, seizing every opportunity and turning them into scores. Not good news for dangerous forward Ben Hansen, who is in doubt for Sunday's clash after copping a knock to one side of his leg. All eyes are focused on this weekend while they'll take on Port Adelaide in the Sandford Macca's League Grand Final. Be sure to tune in or head down to Adelaide Oval on Sunday to see both teams fight it out for the premiership. To women's footy, and the South Adelaide girls have done it again. The under-17s have won the statewide Super Shield, belting Sturts by 72 points at Peter Motley Oval. They won last year's under-16s premiership and had no trouble doing it again. Tia Charlton and Michaela Walker put on a show for those watching, booting 7 goals between them. While Nikki Gore underlined her credentials after being SA's sole rep in last year's AFL Women's Academy. To hockey, the Premier League Grand Finals promised to be full of action, and they definitely delivered. In the men's side, Seacliff did it again, winning against Adelaide 1-2-0. Seacliff's women's side couldn't do the same though, going down to Port Adelaide. The Port girls snagged the win 3-1, making it their 6th flag in a row. And the City to Bay was over the weekend, with racegoers walking, running, crawling and even hopping to the finish line in Glenelg. Olympian Brett Robinson smashed the competition, completing the 12Ks in under 36 minutes, while fellow Olympian Jessica Trengrove did it for the girls, completing the run in just under 40 minutes. This year's race was a little leaner than previous, with only 26,000 people pounding the pavement in its 45th year. Now here's one for all my fellow old scholars. Rex Jory wants to see the Adelaide Oval scoreboard removed, believing it is past the use-by date due to new technology available at our fingertips. The scoreboard has been an icon at Adelaide Oval since 1911, but doesn't serve a huge purpose in today's game. She's looking pretty good for 106 if you ask me, and how else are we meant to find our friends while standing on the hill? Let us know what you think on our socials. And that's up to date with all things in sport in Adelaide. Back to you boys at the desk.
Thanks for that, Erin. Well, Poppy, there's lots coming up on the show. Cycling, there's bowls, there's the Southern Footy League, AFL tips with Bevo, of course, last time for him on the show as well.
Which is a good thing.
But I did catch up with Daniel Motlop in the market.
Yep.
Something wild. There is something wild about this place at the market, I don't mind telling you, and one of the owners of Something Wild is the great Daniel Motlop. Mots, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about your shop. We'll get to your footy career, but, mate, I walk up, emu sausages, buffalo sausages, crocodile sausages. How did this all start?
It started as a small business out of Darwin, pretty much. I met a few people through footy and got to know them and sort of set up this business into a lot bigger one now, I suppose.
So, mate, we're in the market. How long have you been in the market? So I wander in, I go, this is fantastic. Mate, it's busy. How long have you been down here?
So we've owned the shop for about a year now. Before that, Richard Gunner owned it, who owns Feast Fine Foods, and we wanted to buy into the company, and me, Stephen and Shannon and my father now majority owners of the business, and yeah, it's up and running and going well.
All right, mate, so you're starting to expand too, I understand, talking to one of the guys that works for you, mate. You've gone into Sydney, you're into Melbourne. How long before we get Daniel Motlop International?
Oh, soon we hope, but yeah, we're in about 120, 130 restaurants in Australia now. So we do a lot of wholesale, although we got the shop front. A lot of it comes through wholesale, and the shop front's pretty much just here to show people what we got, and it's a bit of a tourist attraction, I suppose, and we're pretty proud of it.
Mate, I would be too. Most blokes, when they finish playing, not sure where they're going to go in the afterlife of footy, out of the bubble, mate. For you, did you have any idea this is where you go?
No, look, I didn't, to tell you the truth. I was just one of those blokes. The same thing. I did not know what I was going to do. So I pretty much retired, walked into the office, said I'm done, and yeah, that was it. From there, I was just trying to find a job, and it led me to this eventually after about 3 or 4 jobs, and going up to Darwin and Chief Minister's advisor for a while there, and that led me to getting into business, I suppose. So it really opened a few doors for me, and yeah, we're here now today. So.
Mate, when you see all the food, clearly you're not going out shooting all that, mate. You can't go out and get that much. I know you like to get out and hunt the geese a bit and do a bit of the fishing stuff. So how does the business work now to expand into something where you're employing hundreds of people?
Yeah, well, look, we got harvesters, Aboriginal harvesters, Aboriginal hunters as well that go out and get the magpie geese. So yeah, it's gone from the small harvesting business that I was running to now owning this bigger business and still having the small harvesting businesses around Australia. So yeah, it's a big setup, and it's just an easy way for Aboriginal people to send in their what they got, their kakadu plums, your green ants, your quandongs, and we purchase off them, and then we got the luxury of having a lot of chefs that use our stuff, and we put it out there and let them try it.
Well, mate, let's have a little talk about your footy career, and then we'll go around to the other side of the shop, mate, and look at all the greenery stuff that you just talked about. So, mate, started playing up in Darwin. Is that where it started for you?
Yeah, it did, yeah. So I obviously started in Darwin, grew up there till I was 16, 17, and moved down to Adelaide with to play for North Adelaide, where Chris McDermott was the coach at the time, and he was great for me. Pretty much took me under his wing, and played me pretty much every league game for the whole season till eventually I got drafted. And coming from Wanderers in Darwin to moving down doing a pre-season probably gave me that stepping stone to be able to play league in SANFL level, and SANFL, I feel as though if you go and play league there, you're pretty much set to get drafted. So it was a good stepping stone for me, and although the 6 months was hard down here living by myself, obviously Chris and a few of the boys that were playing at the time made it a lot easier.
Mate, a lot of the guys come down from the bush and they struggle with that transition into, and Adelaide's probably the best stepping stone, isn't it? I mean, for you then it was out of Adelaide to Melbourne to North Melbourne.
Yep.
How was that transition for you?
That was a lot easier, I suppose, because I knew once I'd done the hard yards, the 6 months, that I would get to Melbourne and my brother would be there, Shannon. So, I sort of told a few clubs that I wouldn't go to them if I got drafted there, which was a bit...
Against the rules, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, a bit arrogant at the time, I suppose. But, yeah, I told a few clubs that I didn't want to go to Perth, and, I wanted to go to North Melbourne. So I told Choco, I wouldn't mind staying at Port and that. But, yeah, look, I went to North Melbourne. My older brother was there. I had Byron Pickett, Winston Abraham. So it made it a lot easier for me to get over there. So my hard yards were done in Adelaide. So...
But then you came back to Adelaide, and it was fantastic. I mean, you had 3 or 4 seasons with North Melbourne, good seasons too. Back with Port Adelaide, 2008, you become an All-Australian. You're weaving the Motlop magic. Things are going great for you.
Dream team.
Yeah, well, mate, you had the Dream Team, you had the Indigenous All-Stars. In fact, you've played more games than any other Indigenous player for the Indigenous teams, haven't you?
Yeah, so in the Indigenous games against your Collingwood, your Adelaide Crows, and that up in Darwin, actually played. I'm pretty sure I played the most. So that was that was a great moment running out with the Indigenous boys and representing something that everyone's pretty proud of, and actually winning a lot of them games too. So yeah, it's great.
What made you the better player? I mean, not that you played well at North Melbourne, then you came to Port and things went up another level for you. Why?
I think just, you had Darren Burgess at the time, and, just learning how to train and how to train hard. And obviously you got the blokes like Kane Corns and that who, they got a pretty high level of training, Chad, and coming from another club and trying to live up to that. I was a pretty decent runner at the time, but naturally I could run, but to actually really train hard in everything you do, was a lot different. And I knew when I was pushing myself at training 100%, that's when I played my best footy, which was 2007, 8, 9, 10. So that was my probably best career.
Mate, for you there was the freaky goals, the Eddie Betts they talk about now, and we see Eddie with his son doing some kicks in the hallway, something special. Now, you had a couple, if I remember rightly, at Alberton Oval outside the fence and still goals. So Eddie still doesn't really have the #1 title for the spectacular kicks, does he?
Eddie's pretty good, but I wouldn't want to go up against him. But I think Chad Wingard's tried some of that stuff, which was pretty good as well. I think Eddie could do it pretty easy.
Pretty
maybe.
Mate, you went back, well, you hurt your ankle, I reckon maybe 2011, was it? 2008, yep. Hurt your ankle, played through that. In fact, you were one of the first guys. The Port Adelaide had the first game at Adelaide Oval. When they moved back from there, you played the last game against Melbourne, had a ripper in that game. Port got over the line, so another first for you, mate. You're chalking them up. But then you went back and played with the Wanderers.
Yep.
Up until this year. You were still
pretty
playing
much
with the Wanderers, mate?
Yeah, so it was probably a problem of mine. I always wanted to go back and play with my home club. I'm pretty passionate about it. Probably to the point where, my career stopped early because of that. And I kept pushing it. I walked into Port Adelaide just randomly and said, look, I'm done. Wanderers were playing Waratahs, who Favola was playing at the time. So I said, look, I want to go up there and play tomorrow, and pretty much quit and went and played up there and played the last 5-6 years, won a premiership, which is all I really wanted to do was, play for my home club and win that premiership. And, I've done that and pretty happy with life because of that. So it's strange, but
life is pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a little wander around and have a look at the greeneries from the bush, the wild thing.
Yeah, so we've got
mate.
A little bit of kangaroo, buffalo, obviously every sausage.
Crocodile sausage, mate. That's got to be the favourite.
Crocodile sausage is pretty good as well. So a bit of roux tail. If we come down this end here. So we're not so much just all indigenous ingredients. It's wild. So something wild. We got some camel hump here, quail as well, pigeon, bit of duck, and then you come down this area. We've got some goat, buffalo as well, venison, and a bit of rabbit as well. So there's a good variety of wild Australian food here. So,
mate, seriously, this is the longest ad we've ever done for a sporting person. I think Mott's has got another first for us.
Is this only an ad? Okay.
This is just the ad, mate. Then we've still got to go around the other side and see all the
so
greenery.
we'll head over to the other side.
All right, let's head over there.
See.
Righto. Now, Motts, what have we got on this side, mate? We've done all the meats over there. Now we're here at the party pie section, mate. Kangaroo pie, creamy crocodile pie.
I wouldn't say that's a party pie. It's pretty filling, but yeah, we've got creamy crocodile, kangaroo, venison, and emu pie. So we make our own pies at our factory. Then as we move down here, this is all our homemade stuff, or not homemade, but
mate, you're kidding, aren't you? Buffalo cabana.
Yeah, we do the
You're
cabana.
just making stuff up, aren't you?
Yeah, well, that's what we do. So we're trying to turn these products, that are wild stuff to make it easier for people to eat. It's obviously a lot of people don't like eating this sort of stuff, so it's an easy way to try it. This is all our small goods section. So, you got your smoked wallaby, smoked crocodile, smoked kangaroo, metwurst, bit of fritz here. So,
mate, why isn't there any camel or donkey, mate? They're wild up there, aren't they?
We got camel on that side. Yeah,
okay.
We've got a lot of camel. So
donkey, no good.
Probably our biggest seller, camel. So.
Oh, really?
Donkeys, we're looking into that at the moment.
I mean, if you had to describe the taste of buffalo versus camel versus kangaroo, is there a big taste difference?
Well, look, I'm not a big camel fan personally. A lot of it's our biggest seller, but I'm not. Well, it's wild, as in wild, not native, so I don't really eat it.
Anything that's wild's on here. What about this section, mate? The greeneries. Now we're getting healthy.
Yeah, so this is very healthy. So these are all our native greens. All these are picked up in the Coorong area. So you got your kakala, sea blight, native coastal rosemary, saltbush, muntries as well. So all these are picked up in the Coorong area. We've got 300 acres up there that Leon Davis, ex-Collingwood player.
Leon Davis, yep.
He runs our greens program, and he's got a bunch of boys that go up there and pick all this for us, and yeah, they also work in the shop as well. So Leon's a great asset to have. He's done well with all these greens, as you can see. They're pretty fresh and amazing. So,
and then we've got the bloke working behind the counter here, James Moore. Of course, now Moore is involved with North Adelaide. Clearly, he doesn't come to this section at all, mate.
No,
because I'm having a look at him, and he looks like he's been eating a bit too much of the product, mate.
It's a bit like that. So, no, Maury does a great job. So he's stay away from the green section like me and you. So, yeah.
Daniel Motlop was our special guest. You need to get down to the market, come and see Something Wild. The food is fantastic, an unbelievable footy player and one of the greatest Indigenous players of all time.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
with us.
Cheers.